Alright, so we're back with our favorite sky pirate in the Sundered Isles, Icarus Talon. Haven't been doing a whole lot of airship stuff lately, but we've got a mystery we need to solve. We have some tension within our ranks, and we do have one of our ranks who's going to help us solve this mystery, hopefully. What happens next? Let's play to find out. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Sacred Art of Gaming, where one of the things we offer here are solo plays, like this. The things that we're working with here for this potential mystery is locate time illusion. Wait, locate time settled illusion. I have some kind of ideas as to how that is going to play into this mystery. I'm a little nervous for how it's going to play out because I have both a lot of information and very little. A lot in the sense that there are so many truths and yeah, I guess it's just the truths. The truths really spiraled into so many different things that could have somehow played into this. There's a lot of stuff for this region specifically that I think ideally you tie it together. But then also, like, as far as NPCs, I have like none. I have none. I have Jonas, who's dead. I have Kiana Caldis, who's the lover of Jonas. And then we know about the Hollow Eyes, or Hollowed Eyes, the death cult that's in the region to help with the plague. Let's get down to this investigation. We also have our elementalist with us, Elisa Devatu, who is begrudgingly helping us. It's Icarus and the girls, the mage girls at that, the mystics. I made some minor changes. I was hoping that I could maybe fill up any of these damn legacy things, and I did not. I did, however, get momentum out of it. I now see the reason for the beginning and ending of a session, because I think that could generate XP. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure something out, because I feel like I should be further along in any of these, and they're all blank. I'm actually further along on my background vow than I am on my legacies. But alright, so Icarus and the girls going out into this swampy canal, plague-ridden death cult. It's a very dark, and this is like on the coast too. Yeah, not a nice place. I imagine there's probably a lot of mosquitoes too. He needs to get some information from people, from things. All that we've gotten so far from one of the locals is to find Kiana Callis. She is helping with the Jade Pod, the Jade Swamp Pods, to help with the sickness. We'll say all of us go together as she's working on that, and we kind of bond and discuss the situation within the town. From there, we then need to gather information. So we search for clues, conduct an investigation, analyze evidence, or do research. She believes that he was murdered. Let's probably go to where they lived, which may have been destroyed by this crazy storm that took place here. So we'll go there and we can talk to people, look at the area. Maybe between myself and the mystics, we can figure something out. Hopefully. Icarus is not known for his investigative abilities here with wits. But we're going to check it out. He's looking at the building. He's looking around the building. I don't know. This is going to be tough. This is going to be pretty tough. There's a whole friggin' hurricane came through here. And then talking to people. And we'll keep things in mind for our truths in combination with those oracle words. Here we go. Investigation afoot with help from our mystics. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This guy rolled. This guy did not. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm glad I kept that. I considered redoing the whole thing. Woo, okay. So that's a 5. Hails to the yes. Gathering, finally, these D10s have been screwing me this whole time. On a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn, then take 2 momentum. Wow, we built up momentum really fast. I just gotta be not afraid to take it. Okay, Hell yeah. Should there be a track for this? I kind of feel like there should be. I mean, if we're making progress, we got to make progress on something, right? And we'll say this is dangerous, because I don't think it should be as crazy as completing the artifact. There may have to be many sessions to complete this in the way that I think I will. I don't know. We may have to cut it at completing the artifact, to be honest. But I don't know. We'll see. So, Jonah's murder. So we discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is clear. Envision what you learn, then take 2 momentum. So we don't make progress, but we have the potential to make progress. It sounds like we know what to do next. But the problem that I don't necessarily know offhand is, what would that thing be? Discover something helpful and specific. Between locate, time, settle, case, and illusion. Illusion is definitely the word that speaks to me quite a bit here. So here's what I'm thinking, and I always wonder if maybe these are the things I should be saying before I roll for this style of game. I have my 2 mystics with me, and Icarus, what would he be focusing on? What can he bring to the table here? Actually, we'll say that he was able to identify that there is something there is like a faction. It's an underground ring of fortune seekers that supply a black market trade of stolen treasures. So let's say there is something there that he's able to identify that is from that faction, who may or may not have a name that I'm just not recalling at the moment. So he does identify, maybe there's some type of symbol or something that shows that. And maybe because of illusion, maybe that device also does something illusion based. The mystics I have with me, neither one of them are illusionists. One is a necromancer, one is an elementalist, but they do identify that that is the case. That is one potential lead. Also a potential lead that I'm thinking is that there is going to be a seal that is left behind, some type of identifier. And that identifier is for the Imperial Guard sorcerers. They're very powerful. There's not many of them, but they are like a faction within the faction of the Farrens. Elite, even. So that is interesting, just in an attempt to tie things back to our like big bad being like the Empire in this scenario. After that happens, we're able to talk to some of the locals and see if any of them have seen, heard anything that was strange that happened maybe before the storm, maybe even before the plague. What could they have seen? Because I feel like this would have been mentioned before. So maybe one of the locals did see something, someone who was dressed extravagantly for this region, who then did go into the building where Jonas lives, saw some bright flashes that took place. That extravagantly dressed person did run off and then run towards the coast, the docks where the ships are. They did not see that member again. Helpful and specific. The path you must follow. And we do we get the impression from maybe another person, a local, that states that the case was closed for Jonas's murder, which they thought was strange given the lead up to the storm and his murder. I think maybe of those things, it makes the most sense to speak to the leader. What might that leader's name be? 93. And that name is Kaiza Buhari. That's a family name. Will or Jones. I kind of like the very basic name of Will because it does stand out quite a bit. 74. Will Russo. I like it. All right, so Will Russo, write that down because that feels like the kind of thing that I would forget. Will Russo, we go to talk to this gentleman, and things are kind of in tatters, so it's not like he has a ton of like guards per se. He's got like a couple in the room. And we go to press him, Will, further on the situation. Compel, but Compel does have a few options here. We want to get more information from this guy. We want to get more information. It feels a lot like there's a cover up here. It sure does, because why would he settle this as like, oh, he died in the storm? Like, was Jonas, what was Jonas's role? Was he more important? Does she know anything more? Is she hiding something? What does Will know? Our iron is not great. Lying and swindling, solid. I don't know. I feel like my thought process, regardless of my stats, is to threaten or incite in this scenario. We're going in there hot. I mean, it's technically I guess we're tied, us three versus them three, but I've got mystics on my side. We don't know his ties to the Farrens. We want to know more information. He's not giving it to us. He seems to be dead set on, nope, the case is closed. You know, my people have looked into it. We're good. I want to get him to see things my way. And that does not look like that's going to be the case. I do have momentum that I could burn that could help me. If I miss, they refuse or make a demand that costs me greatly, or I can upgrade to a strong hit. They'll do, so it's as above, but the agreement comes with a demand or a complication. Envision their counteroffer. Is that always the case? I feel like this game, it's hard to get to a resolution because everyone has a complication. On a strong hit, they'll do what they want or agree to your conditions, take plus momentum. So I would get the momentum, but with a complication. So that's kind of cool. I think I will do that. I will burn my momentum because we need to make progress here. That'll bring me down to +2, but then I get the +1 after, which will put me at +3. We press him, and as we press him, his Icarus really just gets in his face and just lets him know that if he's sticking up for the Empire, no one here is going to back him, including his entire crew who's with him. Nobody here is friends of the Empire, except for the Empire. And we're not exactly in the heart of the Empire out here. The two guards stand up with Will Russo. As they get a little nervous, they get ready for some type of scuffle to break out. And Will Russo says, "Shut the door." Kiana, she shuts the door and she's like kind of antsy that she's finally going to get some knowledge as her husband's disappearance, murder in her eyes. He says that, well, he did it to his damn self. It's not our fault. It's not anyone's fault here. He did it to his damn self. He had to go making deals, finding black market items. Kiana, in an outrage, is, "You know that is not true. My husband was a good man and he's never hurt anyone." And then Will is like, "Look at how many people he hurt, Kiana. Look at how many. You think that storm was an accident? That's just the tip of the iceberg, Kiana." And things are getting kind of heated in his office, his makeshift office, one of the few buildings that's actually still standing upright. And you can see Kiana's starting to get a little worked up. Icarus, he's like, okay. So it sounds like Jonah, whichever it is, sounds like he was in deep. And we need to know who his killer was. Is this where we want to deliver a dope-ass line? Locate, time, settled. So we've kind of settled the settled portion somewhat. We've spoke to illusion, locate, and time. Locate and time, that's very interesting to me. Maybe you're asking the wrong questions, pirate. Maybe not who, maybe not what, maybe when. You start dealing with these strange artifacts from different times and places. Sometimes you deal with time, and they're just looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? This doesn't make any goddamn sense. This is Will. Will's like, you think the Farrens, especially sorcerers that he has at his disposal, you think they're limited by time and space. They're not. For all you know, they could still be talking to Will right now. Icarus is like, well, what do I even do with that? What does he do with that? That is the question. Really box myself in here. And you know what's annoying about this? I feel like this should have made progress. Sometimes I almost feel like I need to make up my own rules in a way. Regardless, I'm gonna do that. Where's my pencil? Because if this don't count as progress, I don't know what does. So, Will Russo looks at them and says, it's no mistake this region was hit as hard as it was. No mistake at all. And we're lucky that any of us survived it. And it's his fault. Jonah just couldn't let well enough alone. Putting the might of the Farron Empire on this small town. You want to find the killer? Everything you should need is in his house. So they're like, okay, we did find that strange device. Let's go back. One of the guards is kind of standing in the way of Icarus on the way out. And Icarus is like, yeah, and thank you so much for your time, as he bumps into one of the guards that also like looks at him as they are on their way out. So they head back to the building that they were already investigating. I think something that I think is a very real possibility is that someone thinks that this group is now on to something that's happening. And I think there are probably just like a yes-no oracle in here that I can use. If not, I will just use my own. That's fine. I will just use my own. Something I'm curious about is there someone investigating the building now? Is there someone there that looks suspicious, something like that? And I think there's a good chance of that. So I'm gonna roll 2d6 here to represent that. Wow! I don't think I've ever had that happen. An exceptional no, suspiciously no, and doubles, that's kind of crazy. To me, it sounds like there's two potential factions that are involved here. And I wonder, do I have a name written down for those fortune seekers anywhere? I've got all these random notes in random places. I don't think so, not terribly important. So we'll say that this group, this underground ring of fortune seekers that supply the black market trade of stolen treasures that Icarus is very familiar with as a pirate, we will say that someone was there, and someone saw this, someone saw, as we go back, they actually are visibly shaken as we go back. And we're just like, what's the matter? Why do you look so strange? And he almost doesn't even want to talk to us, but Kiana's like, please, sir, like, let us know. Like, we'll believe anything. Like, whatever it is that you saw, please tell us. He says that someone was there looking through the wreckage very cautiously, and someone appeared out of the shadows and blipped both of them out of existence, almost as if like a small orb encased both of them very quickly, and they just disappeared. And we're like, okay, well, where was that? So he shows us where exactly it happened. Is that illusionary device still there? Yes! Exclamation point. Exceptional yes. So it's still there, but there's something fantastic. Oh, maybe it was activated. Maybe the fortune seeker that was there, he went and he tried to activate this illusionary device, which means I now need to come up with what it does. What does it do? This illusionary device. Oh, okay. So maybe this device makes it very difficult. Maybe it can do a couple different things, but based on the expertise of the mystics that are there with me, it seems like this, and I'm almost picturing like a small triangle that can be manipulated and do crazy, like it starts as a pyramid, but it can be manipulated into other shapes and do different things. But it looks like it was actually able to mask the location from like any type of artifacts that maybe someone is able to find with some type of other very advanced device or magic. It masks that. Something must have happened that makes it so they were able to find him. And maybe the hurricane is what did that. Maybe they just had a very rough idea as to where it could have been, the actual artifact that we are both looking for. So maybe they sent in this hurricane to hit a massive area. Maybe these sorcerers are extremely powerful. They summoned this crazy ritual that made this maelstrom of mana and wind and probably water too to some degree to wipe out an entire region in hopes that it would reveal the area. And it did. And it did, and they came in and they took it. So we think. Potentially, that's like the audience, I guess. That's what we think the device does, maybe other things too. And then we also can see that something happened in an area, and maybe there's some type of, like an echo of whatever that spell or whatever it was that still exists there. Can we interact with that in some way? And I feel like a move should be, what would that be though? That's an interesting, I don't think it's combat. I feel like it would be exploration. So, I mean, we have undertake an expedition, explore a waypoint, make a discovery. This is where we gotta get a little creative, I think. I think we technically have control of the story, kind of. So I think what we want to do, and we'll see how this goes, this might not work the way I want it to, but I think we should secure an advantage. And I think, unfortunately, there's a good chance that it's either wits or edge. So we're trying to assess the situation, make preparations, or attempt to gain leverage. We're trying to interact with this blip, this echo of this blip that took place. Expertise, focus, or observation, speed, mobility, or agility. Yeah, no, I think this is gonna be wits. This is gonna be wits. Expertise, focus, or observation. And we're doing this collectively as a group. I do have the mystics with me, and we will see if we can interact with this echo in some way that is advantageous to us. Whether it's through magic or us actually like touching it. Icarus is probably touching it as they are observing and trying to figure out what this could be. Let's see. Wow, that damn 9. We got a weak hit though, that's solid. On a hit, you succeed. On a strong hit, take both. On a weak hit, choose one. I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Add +1 on your next move that's not a progress move, or take 2 momentum. I think I will take the 2 momentum because I might forget the +1. So yeah, that sounds like a success to me. So as we're interacting with it, between Kiana and Elisa, the two of them, how are they interacting with this? Elementalist and a necromancer. The necromancer, Kiana, she's saying, I can hear whispers. I can hear whispers on the other side, but it's almost as if it seems like it's the dead, but it also seems like it's not. It's very strange. Elisa, the elementalist, she says, I think I have an idea. An echo like this, maybe we can find a way to strengthen the echo so that we can actually utilize it. I'm actually going to use this avatar dice. What element do we think would help with that? This is not one of the elements. There's this one and this one. I want to say this is technology and this one is skill, but that's still applicable, I think. So she mentions that, yeah, there's it's actually not magic, but some type of strange device that may be able to Icarus immediately takes that strange illusionary device and he just puts it close to it. And as he puts it close to the blip, it just kind of, as he moves it towards and away from it, he finds a sweet spot where it just, and to the point they can actually touch it. Kiana's like, yes, that's perfect. If you can just hold it right there, I think we may be able to pass through this. And she's touching it and you're seeing her hand disappear. She grabs onto Elisa's hand. Elisa grabs onto Icarus's hand. And they're like, hold it, as he's holding it there. And then he's kind of, they all get sucked through. The device, I would say, comes with him. The strange illusionary device. That's actually kind of cool. I dig that. So now that they've gone through the other side onto this blip, they're actually in this strange realm, which was not any part of what I ever expected for this. But I'm picturing a place where the world is paused and flipped and turned around, and staircases going in different directions. David Bowie's there walking on them. Yeah, there's like chairs that are suspended in the air. It's a very strange, surreal place, and whenever they talk, it's kind of like has a bit of an echo. There's no movement, nothing anywhere. There are people that you can see there too, but there's frozen. They're frozen and floating, but very slowly, almost like they're in space. But it's their world with a strange tint to it, an odd glow, a mystical glow. As we look around, we're wondering, this might be another gather information. I think that's reasonable. Are there some type of tracks? Like, I would say, we're not super familiar with this world, so that might be difficult. But I kind of think there's the possibility of them identifying some type of strange happenings in the area that'll point them in the direction of these two characters that went to this blip on the other side. Yeah, let's do it. Gather information. Wow, we lucked out. We lucked out. And I think that's wits. Yeah, a lot of wits. Last one was hearts. A lot of wits in this one. Weak hit. Information provides new insight, but also complicates your quests. Envision what you discover, then take +1 momentum. Wow, momentum. Very handy that we're getting it so fast. Okay, so they do see tracks. They see tracks and almost like a magical trail, so to speak. And you can see where they almost carve their way through all this stuff that's moving. And they're also starting to realize that the laws of gravity and physics apply in a strange way here. There is something complicates our quest. And I think the thing that is going to complicate our quest is going to be all the voices that Kiana is hearing. That's kind of strange for her. It's as though she's hearing, as a necromancer, we'll say it's not unreasonable that she can hear the dead, but she typically has to focus in on that. It's as though her focus, she has no focus. She's hearing all the voices from everywhere all at once, from all of these bodies that are just kind of like floating around. They seem lifeless. She's looking around and we're starting to lose it. I think we should aid our ally. Icarus and Elisa. I don't know why I can remember her name. They both try and get her to calm down. Icarus is trying to get her to calm down in a more, just a person emotional sense. He leads people, so that doesn't sound unreasonable. Elisa is trying to do so from more of a magical sense. She's been overwhelmed with power before. So let's do that. So envision how we do it. Secure an advantage or gain ground to take action. If you score a hit, they instead of you take the benefits of the move. If you gain ground and score a strong hit, you are both in control. On a weak hit, your ally is in control. I don't think I need to roll on this. I think this is just a thing that we're going to do. So we do that. And then does she let out a scream? I don't think she does. I think she is like panting. Okay, it's very strange. I don't know what I'm dealing with here. And then we hear a scream based off of our gather information. We're going in the direction. We hear a scream and we hear voices off in the distance. All three of us very quickly go into that general direction. And that is where we do see the fortune seeker that gives to the black market. We see this Imperial Guard sorcerer. Elite. They're dealing with the laws of physics in ways that even my mages can't even comprehend. So we do have the jump on them. How do we want to interact? What are they saying? I would say the Imperial Guard. This Imperial sorcerer is, oh man, especially because we're dealing with time here. I'm going to say that as they're looking on, the Imperial sorcerer is asking the fortune seeker questions about, why are you here? What are you looking for? Did you not already do enough damage? Blah, 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 blah. It's kind of some interrogation. But I think what's interesting, because we're in a weird time standstill type of place, the sorcerer is actually making time speed up within control of as an interrogation method. I think the sorcerer is going to be calm, like almost freakishly calm, like serial killer calm, and is just making the fortune seeker float. And the fortune seeker's like, no, I don't know anything. And he just is looking at him. I know you know. I just need you to tell me, and I can make all of this stop. And what he's doing is he's speeding up time on like individual body parts where his arm ages to the point of looking like the Crypt Keeper, to the verge of death, and then reverses time before he can get the sweet release of death. And he's doing that individually, arm, leg, head might be a little dicey, but yeah, let's say he's doing that too, like towards the end, as this is reaching its climax of trying to get him to break and tell him more information. And does he break? Does he break? Let's see. Yes! Hell to the yes. The fortune seeker says, okay, enough! But his voice is actually changing between like old man to back to his normal age, which is, let's say, 20s. Okay, enough! I'll tell you everything! I'll tell you everything! I'll tell you everything. And it's just, it's going in and out as he's torturing him. Lets him go back down to his feet, but as he goes back down to his feet, his legs are extremely aged at that point, so his legs just collapse under the weight of his own body. Good, because everything is what I want to hear. Tell us about your good friend. I should get it right because this is an important moment. Tell us about your good friend, Jonas, and what he intended to do with the artifact. Does our group of three intervene here? I don't know, but that seems like a good place to leave things so I can jump in the next session. Let me know your thoughts about everything that's going on, what you think his relationship to Jonas just might be, what's going on with these artifacts and the storm and the plague. I almost feel like it's too much. I probably should have dialed back the tables when I started playing this game, but there was just so much interesting stuff. All right, like, comment, subscribe, do all that crazy fun stuff. And I will see you in the next one as we continue to explore the sacred art of gaming together.